Ghana, where incumbent president and candidate for the New Patriotic Party, Nana Akufo Addo, has been re-elected for a second term in office. After the much-anticipated results of Monday's presidential election, Akufo Addo polled 6,730,413, which is 51.59% of the total votes cast, to defeat his old rival and main opposition, John Mahama of the National Democratic Congress, who polled 6,214,889, which gave him 47.36% of the total votes cast. For more on this, I have joining me from Ghana political analyst Michael Nkita, and joining me I have journalist Debrah Ameyaw, and from the UK, former African editor of Financial Times, Anthony Goldman. Okay, hello, please, can you hear me?
Morning.
Yes, so what's the situation like in Ghana right now?
So yesterday, before the announcement, there was a lot of tension because the opposition party had declared their intention not to accept any results, which didn't go in their favor. And so a lot of their supporters were sort of on the streets to the point where they surrounded the head office of the Electoral Commission. And so there was that much tension. And then eventually, when the EC made the declaration, we realized that those people who had gathered now diffused their gatherings and went home. And then now the supporters of the MPP were rather the ones jubilating and roaming all over the streets. And then later on in the day, the opposition party came back with a presser. They had a press conference to say they're not accepting, and they gave a number of reasons. So again, a bit of the tension is back, but for now, it's not like before, where people feared that people could hit the street and cause a lot of confusion. So that's what like this morning.
Now, would you say that Ghanaians are looking at this election as free and fair, given the results?
Well, largely people are, because of the way it works. There are media houses are located around all the constituencies, and they move around from polling station to polling station, calling out the results that keep coming in. And so they make it their own projection, and people are watching. So at the end of the day, they see small differences between the projections, and they will understand that at least this is where all the results are heading towards, minus all the little differences. So that much of transparency is there for people to see. And so largely people believe it to be free and fair. At the moment, only the opposition party, main opposition party that is contesting it as not being fair. Most of the other parties and independent candidates that contested have congratulated the winner, and we are yet to actually hear from the former president as well.
Now, what changes do you see the new president, Akufo Addo, making this time with his second term?
Well, I think it would be a lot of consolidation on what he promised the first time he was coming into office, because a lot of the big promises he fulfilled were either met or halfway, or nothing really happened on them. So this period would be a time to consolidate that. And one of the things that they really campaigned on was the free senior high school education. And of course, the first the first phase of it was met with some challenges. So I think it's perfecting all these policies. And another key thing was the one district, one factory that he promised. And so a lot of us would be looking to see a lot more of these factories in this next term as well.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Now, Mr. Anthony Goldman.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, what do you think this election means for neighboring countries like Nigeria?
Well, I think that it was an election conducted in difficult circumstances. The health pandemic, coronavirus, meant that it wasn't possible to have rallies or many of the usual things that people associate with elections in Ghana. Nevertheless, there was an extremely strong turnout in most parts of the country. I think both the political parties contested vigorously, but principally on issues rather than identity. The conduct of the polling, with some exceptions here and there, was fairly peaceful. The role of the Election Commission, this is the third chair of the commission in 3 elections, and I think the fact that things ran as relatively smoothly as they did, I think, is an indication of institutional strength in Ghana. So in that sense, I think it stands out as an indication of stability in the region, and I think that that's something that Ghana has been trying to do well over the years, and I think that that's something I guess that they will try and take forward into the continent. But I think there's still a lot that's still left unresolved by this election. We have focused on the presidential election, and of course that's important in the political system they have in Ghana, but there were also parliamentary elections rather on Monday, and the results of those seem quite a lot tighter perhaps than we've seen in the presidential election, and it's possible that for the first time since the restoration of civilian rule in Ghana in 1992, that Parliament, the majority in Parliament, may be from a different party as the president, and that could throw up some new challenges and perhaps a different kind of way of governing looking into the future.
Okay, now we've seen that Ghana's elections have been tagged, the most boring because they've been so peaceful. Now, given the results that have been given with Nana Akufo winning, do you see peace still prevailing after the results?
Well, I think that actually, the results were more or less in line with what a lot of people were expecting, perhaps actually a bit closer than many independents were expecting. I mean, don't forget, these are the 2 candidates who ran against each other 4 years ago, and the gap then was nearly 10%. I mean, it was a huge ask for the NDC and the Mahama campaign to come back from that defeat 4 years ago, and they have closed the gap significantly, still 3 or 4 points off in the presidency, but perhaps closer still in Parliament. And I suspect that there will be quite a lot of pressure actually to find a way to move on, or to come up with very solid allegations very quickly of something very substantial. I mean, it's not the United States. It's not going to run on for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Debrah Ameyaw and Mr. Anthony Goldman, for joining us. Thank you for taking out the time. Now, coming up, Nigeria's President Buhari addresses the National Assembly. Do stay with us.